So my name's Jacob Larson, and you're on the Larson channel, and we've got Jef Wilson here we're going to talk to today. Jef, how are you doing?
I'm dealing with 2020. How you doing today, Jake?
2020 blows. It blows.
Well, blows, but not a very good one. I mean, there's plenty of teeth involved.
Right, no kidding, right? So we were talking about turning gray, and I have these white things on my chin that
It's looking good though. It's looking good. It's kind of stylish almost. It's like racing stripes.
when I grew it out and I saw that, I mean, I actually thought about shaving it off.
Really?
Yeah.
Shit, man. Gray is the way to be. I mean, this is like you have earned them. It's not about coloring it up like some people like to do or try to hide it. No way. I wouldn't want to hide it for anything.
Well, I started getting gray in my 20s, so I think it had to do with stress.
Oh, definitely
You
stress.
know.
Depends on what you are going through. I mean, hey, we all deal with it. I didn't really start seeing mine until about 35, 38, somewhere in there. And it was just one or two, nothing all that big of a deal. Then come mid 40s, it was, hey, there's several there. And then this year it has decided to go white. So, okay, I get it. Stress.
Right. Yeah. So it's like, okay, this is what we're doing now.
Yeah, I don't know why men don't really embrace it. I mean, be what you are, show that shit off. Women too. I think friggin' grays in women's hair is sexy as shit, but that's just me.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, obviously it's a, society thing or cultural thing. I don't know. I've never.
Oh, yeah, definitely society. Everybody's got to make you think that you need to look young or something on that ilk. I personally don't get it. Hey, I earned my wrinkles. I earned my hair. Hey, and my gut too. I don't care what you guys say about it.
Right. So what's the topic? What do you want to talk about?
Topic of the day. I was thinking about that.
Just
And,
it's up to you.
well, with all the random stuff that goes through my brain, we could go anywhere from hot rods and hot rod shows to actually the coronavirus. And geez, I mean, we could go from one end to the other, anything in between, including children and how, let's see, the word boy is actually the definition of noise with dirt on it. I mean, it could be anything.
The definition of boy is noise with dirt on it.
There you go.
I've never
Learning
heard of
child, really.
that. I've never heard of that.
Oh, of course. I made it up right now.
I like it. Well, okay, so what right now kind of chaps your ass, or what don't you understand, or what you think is kind of jacked?
Well,
I mean,
the way
you post a lot on
everything has
Facebook.
been posed. I'm sorry?
I said, I mean, you post a lot on Facebook, so I mean, you know.
I post all kinds of random silliness. Yeah, let's talk about this pandemic because I think it's just a big fat crock of shit. But that's me. I mean, in regards to wearing face masks and such, they've been doing it in China for well over 25 years, and I think that that's fine. I've never really seen much of a problem with it. I mean, especially in seasons like when the flu season starts or when the common cold's getting kicked around, wearing something like that does help. If for any other reason, if you're the one that's sick, wear that thing just so you're not getting anyone else sick. I mean that's kind of a nice, simple way to show compassion towards others. Like, hey, you realize you're sick, you don't want to get anybody else sick. I think that's fine. The way it's being pushed by the federal government and has been, I'm not really okay on. I think getting the awareness out there to let people know that, hey, this is a way that germs and such spread. So, hey, let's go ahead and, be a little proactive. Okay, that's great. But when you start forcing people to do it, you're not allowed in this establishment unless you are. At that point, it's like, well, do I really need to get that bar of soap and gallon of milk? Do you want to send somebody else to do it? Do you want to order it online? I mean, you've got options. But to force people, I don't really think is fair, in my opinion. I mean, with the plexiglass shields coming down and workers wearing them, I would think personally that the general populace, if they choose not to wear one, that's their right. They don't have to if they don't want to. That's like forcing somebody to wear gloves for no reason. And again, all I see is gloves and masks all over parking lots, in gutters. I mean, seriously, we're at a stage, I would like to say, that we know how to pick up after ourselves. And obviously that's not the case. So What do you think would be the reason people would do something like that? Just randomly throwing their stuff anywhere? Because that's, you would think here in Oregon, especially, that people would want to keep their area clean and the Pacific Northwest clean, and yet nobody seems to really give a damn, and that's really sad in my opinion, because I want to think better of the world around me and those around me, but all too often folks don't even go out of their way to make sure that they're a piece of shit.
So you don't think it's a hoax? I mean, you're not saying that it's a hoax or that the virus doesn't exist or anything like that. I mean, your issue is you just don't like being told what to do.
To a degree, sure, but do I think it's a hoax? No. Do I think it is a manufactured virus? Yes, I do. First implemented there in Wuhan. I started seeing effects of that come last November. So here we are a year later. And now the governor's pushing out until what, March of 21. It's like, okay, they're really playing this one up. But you know, with the amount of deaths versus the amount of deaths from the regular flu, come on, people, be real. Open your eyes. I mean, look at it for what it is. Do I think it didn't work like the folks that engineered it wanted to? Yes. All those FEMA boxes, we see military equipment getting shoveled around all over the country. I've seen many a train around here, just cruising on through. Why do you need that many Hummers? 175 Hummers were on one simple freaking train. Only the Hummers, which makes one wonder, why do you need that many to train with at some military installation? Doesn't make any sense. Were they moving them to be stored? Hey, highly possible. But another train with more of them, and I've got friends from across the country, and they say they're seeing that stuff all across the country. So if we're getting ready for something, that I can believe. Do I think that the military likes to just shuffle around their stuff all the time because they've got nothing else to do? Well, that's possible too. I've dealt with a lot of the military stuff. So I just think that what's going on was an engineered virus that didn't exactly go as planned. So they're re-engineering. That's just what I'm seeing. But hoax,
I mean,
no, I do not think it's a hoax.
I mean, don't you think on some level that sounds a little conspiracy theory? I mean, you've got the United
Oh, of
States
course.
military,
By all means, of
national
course it
security.
does. As soon as somebody throws that word conspiracy theory out there, or just the word conspiracy itself, people automatically turn it off. And when they turn it off, they don't listen. And that's exactly what is wanted. They don't want you to see it as it's in your face. That's just how people that actually have money and know how to manipulate people's ways of thinking work. That is what they do. Watch a narcissist do their thing. I guarantee you they're doing the same thing. People are sheep, and they will get told, do this, do that. And if it's from a public figure that they respect in some way, they're going to listen. Same with folks from Hollywood. A lot of people listen to those famous faces because many Americans look up to these folks. And when they do, they tend to listen to them. Many say go to hell. Many really listen. Hollywood just needs to stay out of the whole affair. As far as politicians, they should be the ones with this contrived vaccine. They should all be taking it first, showing the public that it's okay. Why are they not doing that? Something about Biden going to be doing it publicly. Is he really, or is that just a placebo? We don't know.
Well, I mean, Pence, there was a video of a Pence getting it done. Nancy Pelosi, I guess, is getting it done today. Both Biden and Trump both gave the same answer. They said, hey, listen, when our docs tell us we're supposed to do it, we're going to do it. We want other people that need it more to get it first. I mean, that seems like a legitimate thing, right?
Yes and no. I say yes and no, because let's go ahead and look at the history of vaccines and how long it takes to make such a thing. In our history, when have we ever seen a vaccine roll out so quickly? Ever. They're still working on a vaccine 70 what odd years later for the flu, but they can kick this one out in less than, how many months was it?
Hey, Trump said that he'd have a vaccine before the end of the year, and we have vaccines before the end of the year. So, I mean, you got to give him credit for that. And anytime I hear a Democrat saying different, I was like, listen, he called it. The media bashed him over it. People said it wasn't true. They had experts say it couldn't happen. It happened. We have a vaccine. They rolled it out. They did a fast track thing on it. So, I
Fair.
mean,
I can give you that for sure. However, let's look at the logistics of that. Just the entire thing. So we need to make a vaccine for a virus. We need to get it mass produced. Then we need to get it packaged. So we're going to need the whatever you're going to put it in and make sure it's sealed properly. And then you're going to have to make enough of it to ship to well over millions of people. And you're doing this in what, a time frame of what, a month, 2 months, 5 months? How long have they had this vaccine? Because it takes quite a while to make a million, just 1 million of anything. I mean, most people can't truly understand that number and envision it in their head. It's that big. So when you're saying 3.3 million or 6 point this million, that's like, how long does it take to make something like that? And then there's the shipping process. So now you've got packaging, mass amounts of product and quality assurance and all of this other stuff that goes into play there. I mean, look at it for literally what it is. It takes a long time to do that. It took Amazon years and years to get where they're at when it comes to their shipping. And so they can, yeah, ship from one end of our country to another in a day, but they're not shipping the exact same thing to the exact same, whatever, say county. They're not doing that. We're talking about a major shipping situation and managing that in ways that I don't even know how they would personally do it. I'm not the smartest person on the planet. I don't always understand everything, but I do understand that that's going to take a lot of time, a lot of personnel, and an awful lot of effort, a lot of gasoline, a lot of trucks, trains, airplanes. It takes an awful lot to coordinate all that. And how long has that been in the process of getting to the point we are now where they're shoveling it into what, hospitals and emergency cares and such to get all this done? I mean, just look at it for what it is. There's something not right about that. I've never really cared for Trump. I've never really hated Trump. So it's after he said, well, I was really on hard times. My dad only gave me $1 million to start out. Like, really? Shut up, dude. $1 million? You know, but
okay, but
that
he
was
did something with it. I
that
mean,
was back in the 80s, I think.
he didn't just squander it, Jeff. I mean, he did something.
Oh, of course. He had teachers. He had people showing him how to do it right.
I mean,
When it comes
there's
to
the
becoming a billionaire, you do
Hunter
not get
Biden
where you're
said.
at without stepping on skulls.
Yeah.
That's how I see it. But it's any billionaire, not just him. You know, I don't want to single him out. I've just never really cared for him, but I've never really like disliked him so much that he's a piece of shit. No, nothing like that. I've never liked him, never disliked him. I just don't care about him. I just don't care. I've never cared.
So there's roughly 326 million people in the United States.
Yep.
And so you're saying that for them to even get the United States vaccinated, it's going to be a massive
That's a
thing.
daunting task. Just how long will you have to wait in line for just 100 people to be vaccinated in a day? I would think that would take minimally 8 hours, if not 2 days, because at 50 people a day, when you got to clean all up, get that person ready, you have to have the personnel prep, you got to have all of the sanitation necessary and in effect in each room. Could you, if you have enough personnel, sure, you can get 100 people done in a day. Now, go ahead. I mean, think about how long that's going to take.
Yeah, and you got to get more than one shot. You got to get more than, you have to get more than one shot.
And there you go. I mean, so think about the amount of product that and the time it took just to make that amount of the vaccine, not the bottles are being put in, not the lids, not anything else. There's just quite a few things that the dots are not connecting for me.
So for what purpose though? I mean, why? What purpose would they have of creating a virus, creating all this mess? What in your mind is the ultimate goal?
Well, I've to reduce the population to more easily controlled numbers. I mean, look at it for what it is. At least as the way I'm looking at it is, you have a bunch of people that do not want to do this, do not want to do that. I want to keep you in line. This is a socialist type scenario here where you need to get a certain amount of people to do what you want. And if you can get them to do it, great. But you've got a whole bunch of other people who are not doing it. How are you going to eliminate or get those people into some controllable numbers? Well, a plague of some sort would totally do that, because you certainly don't want to start shooting people. People will revolt immediately. So if you can put out a mass scare, get some people sick, you can say, oh, see, I told you, this is what's going to happen. And then you've got the Trilateral Commission, to whom owns, I mean, literally owns every amount of media being put forth in the United States. They control what you're told, period. You can go ahead, anybody can go ahead and look on YouTube or any other source they choose and find newscasts across the country in the same day, worded the exact same way, saying the exact same things about the exact same topics. Only differences would be, say, Menlo County versus Sacramento County versus this county or that county. They're going to change up a couple words, but seriously, I have literally seen all of this happen throughout the course of the last 10 years, and it's just becoming more and more prevalent. I really don't think a lot of people even care. They're not even looking at that. And I don't think people will care until it's way too late. And by then, I mean, boom, there you go. And then you got the 5G rolling out, which there are theories suggesting that it has a role to play with the vaccine, that those particular wavelengths and radiation being shot out at a cell structure that has already been compromised can easily burst those cell structures. And now you've got people dropping like flies. As soon as you got people dying, now you can say, hey, see, I told you that next wave of corona was going to be bad. And now you got literally people, millions of people dying. Now you can call that, see, I told you. I might just sound crazy.
So you think that the coronavirus rollout was due to population control? I mean,
totally.
Have you, I mean, that sounds pretty utopian.
Sounds stupid, right?
Have you seen
that crazy?
Utopia?
I have. Have you seen the Georgia Guidestones?
I haven't.
You need to look that up. They were erected in 1984. Nobody knows exactly who, but it does say they want to get the global population down to around 500 million so that they're more easily controlled. Well, how do you do something like that? That takes an awful lot of minds getting together to figure stuff out. A lot of people say, oh, this
Guidestones.
Georgia Guidestones. Yeah.
Georgia Guidestones. Okay.
And it's done in several different languages, so many different types of people from different backgrounds can read it. It's certainly not just in English. That said, I mean, if you can control a population, the means of how to do it are there if you've got the money. A lot of people will argue left and right that, oh, this elitist 1% stuff is a bunch of bullshit. That's fine. You can believe that. That's cool. But think about it. I mean, actually think about it. You've got any resource at your control because you can afford it anywhere on the planet. It doesn't matter. Boundaries in regards to, say, countries and such, that doesn't apply anymore to corporate entities. That means nothing. If you own, say, this, that, or the other, and you've got, say, country A and B exchanging this and that, and then you've got country C that wants some, who wants to make that money? Now A and B want to make money with this person. The country boundaries are, those are old news. I mean, that's just a way to segregate people, in my opinion. Because we're all one if you give us a chance. Ain't nobody want to keep them. What is it? Segregate to control the population, and you get people against themselves. You know, fighting amongst themselves. They're not going to look at, say, the farmer with the gun when all the cattle are fighting until it's too late. I mean, that's a terrible example, but hey, it's an example. It just doesn't make any sense any other way. I mean, like, oh, this is just a random occurrence. Really? Well, if it's a random occurrence, tell me about the Spanish flu, because they managed to kind of beat that, but that took time, and that killed globally millions of people, hundreds of millions. And I think they were just trying to reproduce that to drop some population. I mean, we're almost at 8 billion people on the planet now. I mean, think about the amount of toilet paper that amount of people need. That's deforestation right there, just to make toilet paper to wipe our butt. But when you're talking about needing to feed them, that's when Monsanto comes into play, because now you're mutating plant life just to feed these people. But you can also degrade the immune system that way too if you grow it a certain way. Millions of people are affected by this. I happen to be one that can't eat pork. I can't eat pork, whereas opposed to I used to be able to. I used to do a lot of barbecue competitions. I've won and lost, all that fun stuff. But one thing that is held true is my brother and I, throughout that entire process, used to be able to eat pork. We can't now. One of the major grain stocks that has been affected by Monsanto is corn. That corn, a large percentage of it is made into feed stock, or stock for feed for livestock. That said, they feed a lot of it to pigs, a lot of it to cows, a lot of it to chickens. One of the reasons I had to go more vegetarian than anything is because my body can't break that down anymore. It's for me, it's like the equivalent of shoving a train spike through my guts. It hurts that bad, so I just don't do it. So I had to go vegetarian on that level.
So no
About
bacon.
25% of the population is dealing with that now.
No bacon.
I'm sorry?
No bacon.
Oh, no bacon. Look, I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna eat some bacon. I'm gonna eat a piece of ham, or some pulled pork or something. But now chicken's affecting me, beef, lamb. I mean, all of that I really can't eat now. And I used to be able to eat all of that. I had to at one point, just being a chef and instructor. So it's disheartening to know that I can't. It's also nice and challenging to have the ability to create new things with just vegetables, vegetable proteins and stuff. So yeah, my food focus has changed in regards of where I'm putting my efforts, but it's hampered as well just because of the products. I mean, that's just my angle on that one.
Well, wow. So Jef, I mean, this is interesting because you seem like you're anti-Monsanto.
Oh, fuck those guys.
Okay.
That is seriously a money-making scheme. That's it.
But they are literally attempting to feed the globe. I mean, they're literally trying to figure out a way to make grow faster, process faster, so we can eat it faster.
Correct.
Trying to do it,
That's true. They are. And every country is vetoing it or telling them get the hell out. They don't have nothing to do with them. So their efforts are being, squashed in many arenas and many countries because the rest of the world sees how much bullshit it is.
Well, you see a little bit of
autism is on the rise in this country like never before, including many other ailments that there has never been a problem with. Like, why can't we have gluten? Gluten was never a problem throughout the course of human history until about 25 years ago when they started messing with it.
Well, hold on a minute, because I mean, it seems a little contradictory. On one hand, you're against, you're saying that they released the virus to control the population. You're against the control that they're imposing there. But yet, when it comes to something like the food that would feed the population, you're against that.
No, I'm against Monsanto. I'm not against food. I just think that people should have actual food, not engineered. I mean, that's not how we as a species evolved to eat mutated grains and mutated this or that. I mean, our bodies can't handle that. So our bodies are dealing with it in the best ways they can. And so say a mother that's pregnant is eating corn and flour and such, that affects the fetus. And when it affects the fetus, now this child is born with any number of this or that. Good example of that is the autism I've already brought up. ADHD would be another, things that people say, oh no, that's not real. Yeah, it's very real. People just don't want to accept it. And these are numbers that are astronomical now that say 25 years ago were so low that not that they weren't there, but that they were very low, and they have been on a steady rise. So has the population. So if you go ahead and balance that back out to accommodate for population rising, you'll see that those numbers are just they're through the roof for no apparent reason. So there's a catalyst for that, and that is the engineered products that we eat. That if you look at a supermarket shelf, most all of it is engineered.
Well, I'm not going to argue that, but I am going to say, I mean, if you had a choice between a virus released globally to reduce the population, or a company like Monsanto that was set out to feed the global population and keep up with population growth, which would you prefer?
Were they setting out to do that though? I
Which
mean,
would you prefer?
Really? Were they really doing that? That's money making. You could totally give that argument. I
Which would
fully
you
support
prefer?
that angle, but
What
it's
do you
not
want?
realistic.
Do you want the virus or do you want the ability to feed people?
I would like people to learn how to have the ability to feed themselves, because we have lost track of that a long time ago. I mean, even
We're
back
not
in the 50s, people were growing their own, a lot of their own stuff.
we're not
But
going to
now,
have people aren't going to go back to gardens in their backyard.
hell no, they're not. They are lazier than shit. They don't want to do that. They want to go down and buy a burger. They don't want to take the time to grow this or grow that to make something healthy. Most of them don't even know how.
A lot of people don't have a backyard to grow anything in.
Hell, ain't that is the truth. Uh, just look at big cities. The way people are crammed in there. Tokyo would probably be the best scenario, or Dubai, to where people are just crammed in so tightly. They don't have any room to grow anything. They barely have enough room for themselves, that they're paying way too much for this little cube. So no, I do understand where you're coming from. With global population rise, you're going to have to produce more food to feed those people. This is
Right.
true. I'm not gonna, I would not never dispute that, but
Or you're going to stifle and remove population.
you've got to do one or the other. But if you can get a certain amount of the population to be stifled, mental growth, any number of ailments or mutations, I mean, you're looking at people being killed off with a virus that's been engineered the way it has. It will kill them off sooner or later. That's just dropping some numbers. I don't want to sound sadistic, but first ones to go for are the young and the elderly. They're the easiest to take out because they either don't have a strong enough immune system or a compromised immune system. It's just the easiest way to do it. It sounds sadistic, and yeah, I'm sorry, but I'm just looking at it from a realistic angle. That's what I would do. Get rid of the weak, then sift through the strong. Because if you've already got them sick, now I know how to get rid of you. Now I know how to get rid of you. Now I know how to get rid of you. It's all population controlled, ultimately.
So you just basically said that if you were put in a position of power and you had to do something like that, you would have, I mean, you would make that choice, you'd make that decision. So
If
how can anybody, look at Bill Gates and say what he's doing is a bad thing? I mean, clearly he's trying to better the planet in the only way he knows how.
Yeah, you could say that, but just look at the numbers of people he's killed with his stuff. I mean, those speak for themselves. I'm not really over too much educated on that, so I really don't want to speak on that one. But from what I have read, he did. He is. When was he ever a doctor?
So
So
he's
he's
the
going to hire
youth
people.
population.
He's. It looks like his foundation is doing something good. Yet there are so many people opposed to it. Why are they opposed to something that's supposed to be so helpful? That speaks on its own.
Well, because on one hand, you have people saying, listen, people are dying and that's bad. On the other hand, you've got other people looking at it and saying, well, from a population growth standpoint, we're maintaining that level or we're reducing it, and that's good in the long run. So there's a group of people out there, and you can call them elites or whatever, that think that the reduction of population is actually a good thing. So the more deaths are better.
Yeah, for them, by all means.
Well, not just for them, but for the global planet as a whole, because then it pushes out that end date where we run out of resources.
Oh yeah. There's also that, and places to grow stuff. So then there's all the infrastructure you need just to transport all that food, just to get it to those people.
So shouldn't we be supporting companies like Monsanto?
No, we should be supporting companies that sell seeds, that sell places to grow them. Or hey, would you be opposed to, say, leasing a quarter acre or an eighth of an acre so you could grow your own corn, potatoes, and I don't know, green beans? Would you do that?
Bro, I would do that to put a bunk there and sleep. I would do that to be able to go once a year and go hunt. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't think anybody's going to argue with having the ability to own or lease a piece of property that they can call their own. I don't think anybody's
Right.
going to argue that.
Well,
But you're going
then
to
maybe
tell me
we should. Maybe that's what an idea that we should be going in. To help have the population help themselves. I don't.
just divide up the land.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, there's plenty of it. It's all over the planet. It's not like we can't do it. I mean, you can look at the rice paddies in China, how they got them going even up mountainsides in terraces. So
It's
not
not
like it's
developed
unheard of.
land. I mean, it's
Well, that's because, say, a person like you or I, if we don't have that skill, we need to learn it. Learn how to take care of yourself, like like we used to. Our population numbers didn't really start climbing until the Industrial Revolution. So, and that's when we started having an infrastructure to get farmers get stuff from them to the populace in major metropolitan areas. So it's not unheard of to have people that know how to grow these things. So it shouldn't be unheard of that people should learn how to do that for themselves.
Jeff.
It could be argued that people just don't have the time.
Jeff.
Okay.
This is the scenario. You've lived in the Pacific Northwest for how many years?
Well over 20 years.
Well over 20 years. Been out in the woods numerous times.
Oh my God, yes.
So the United States government tomorrow says, listen, we're implementing this new program. We're going to give everybody a piece of a little patch, a half acre, like you said, where everybody gets a half acre. And on that half acre, we want you to develop a process and means for you to grow your own food and be self-sustaining and service yourself. Okay. Your half acre is, 150 miles away, out in the middle of, the Deschutes National Forest. How do you prepare that land for crop? How do you irrigate that land for crop out in the middle of the Deschutes National Forest, a half acre on your own? How do you do that?
Well, you drive your lazy ass there and get going. It's not like there isn't farmers' almanacs that are never not published every year. So if you have the drive, determination, and motivation to do such a thing because you want to be a self-sustaining person, what's 150 miles? And then, like you said, plop a little shack on there so you can live there and do that.
Okay, but you're going to have there's a group of society there's a group of society out there that wants nature to stay natural. They don't want people popping up homes everywhere and digging into the ground and shitting behind bushes. They want all that to be left normal. What do you do with that? Because I mean, you've got 7 billion people in the United States. I mean, how do you?
Yeah, they started sectioning off certain areas like that early on in the 1900s. We call them national forests now. So it's not like it's not like we wouldn't have national reserves to look at and admire, but realistically speaking, just with population alone, one way or another, people are going to start dying off or start learning how to live again. People are going to die.
So either way, death's involved. You're going to die from COVID, a manufactured virus, or you're going to die from eating Monsanto, or you're going to die trying to make your own food.
Well, Jacob, we all die anyway, right?
Right. Listen. Right. I'm just what I'm questioning, because like I said, you started this combo. Okay. And I was just following your train of thought. I'm only questioning what you're advocating for, because you're against, Monsanto making food for the masses, but you're also against a virus released to reduce population levels.
Mm-hmm.
And either way, the problem remains the same. We've got population growth that's going through the roof. Something has to be done. Maybe it's a combination of two. I mean, I don't know.
I don't really think there's any easy answers for any of this. I wouldn't even pretend that there are easy answers for this. So I guess I don't know, man. This is when the people need to get together, because it's obvious the politicians got their heads shoved so far up their ass that they're not going to help. Otherwise, they would have figured all these things out by now, or would be in some sort of talks or ways to help, but they're not. They're only worried about their pocketbooks. I mean, look at it for what it is. I don't see any of them not getting their paychecks throughout all this pandemic. They're getting paid as they're playing golf. They're getting paid as they're and you've got an entire country suffering. I'm dealing with this thing as well. So,
oh yeah, me too.
It's like we as a people need to actually get together and start being the people, because we're not. We're divided. We're fighting amongst ourselves. We're not doing any good for us. We're allowing small-minded, greedy little fuckers to take on things that oh, well, I just don't have the time for that. I need a new pair of shoes, or Junior's got to have this or that. It's like, okay, I get you might want your shoes. I get that you might need to feed the kids. I get that the government is kicking out programs to help such people, but let's look at the unemployment right now, just in our state alone, Oregon. You've got people waiting 5 months with no benefits. How are they living? And that's just waiting, because they are so backed up, and their personnel is, they're pulling people out because of the COVID. So that's making it harder and putting more work on the people that are still in the buildings doing the jobs. A lot of people are working remotely. I get that, but shouldn't they be having more people being work remotely because of the thousands and hundreds of thousands of people out of work that need fed, that need their money just to pay rent?
Right.
Politicians should have already figured this all out. I mean, how long has it been now? You're going to tell me these people ain't figured it out by now? Why, if they haven't, why are they where they're at? We put them there. Well, maybe they need to get the hell out and get some people in there that's a little more competent.
Well,
don't bring up the whole Governor Brown stuff, because wow, I'd like to kick her into a dumpster. But
well, I'm just saying. I mean, you said we put them there. Maybe we didn't. Maybe we didn't put them there. Maybe this election stuff is kind of like peeling away the bandage of something that's been going on for years. And Oregon, Washington, California haven't been blue all these years. Maybe they've actually been red, and it's just been kind of manipulated blue.
You better believe it's been manipulated. Oh my goodness.
I mean, yes. If we're going to talk conspiracy, I mean, let's.
Oh, dude, seriously, this is not something. Oh, this has been going on for years. This is like deep state stupid, just saying deep state alone, a lot of people will be turned off, like, oh, he's a nut job. It's like, okay, fine, I'm a nut job. You're the nut job to keep believing it, because look where we're at right now, and the things that we've been doing are not helping. So who's more the nut? You're allowing things to not work on purpose, or you've got people that want to change things that are being called weirdo and, left wing, right wing, whatever you want to call them. Oh, well, they don't know what they're talking about. Really? Well, throughout all this stupid little argument, nothing's getting done.
Right.
So the people need to stand up and start doing something, and they're not. Would I be a part of, say, a coalition of people that are standing up for a specific cause, this or whatever it may be? If I believed in it, by all means I would. And I'd have one hell of a big mouth. But we've already got stuff like that, and these people are being ignored. So either more people need to start standing up, or we need to reevaluate what exactly to do. The whole voting thing is fraudulent as it is. So, I mean, you could skew any number you want with the way they're doing it. You're putting ballots in a computer. All I got to do is Joe Blow, Mr. McPublic, is go in there, tweak a number here and there. I've already got the clearance to get in the computer for whatever it may be, so I can do whatever I want. I mean, that could be done on a national election, a state election, a county election. It doesn't matter. I mean, people aren't looking at it for what it is. You can manipulate anything you want. Do I think Biden won? I think it was a lot similar to the election from 16, to where I think enough people were just whiny enough that, oh, I hate Trump. Like, okay. I did a little, just randomly, a month and a half ago, I went down to California and came back, visited family. I have never seen so many vote Trump 2020 signs in my life going up and down that road.
In California.
I'm just talking I-5 all the way up and down. It was Trump. I didn't see but 2 Biden signs, and trucks and cars and just big freaking billboards and diesel trailers, all Trump 2020 the entire way up. But Biden won? That's kind of weird how you've got all these people that want Trump in office, but Biden won? How is that?
Popular vote by 7 million votes.
It's just weird. It's just, something just doesn't add up for me. Am I going to overthink it? No, because I got other things I need to worry about right now. I find it interesting how the people who did not support Trump throughout the last 4 years were nothing but a bunch of whiny, pissy little bitches about every little single fucking thing. But I don't really hear, okay, Trump has lost. Yeah, I'm not really hearing too much. Well, shit, he lost. I'm not really hearing a whole bunch of, Biden's a piece of this and that. I'm just not seeing it in the numbers that I was seeing all these leftists just losing their shit every day. I don't know. It's just a bunch of babies that needed coddling. I don't know.
Make a crying video. Do you want to make a crying video?
Oh, we should make a crying video. That'd be awesome. I'm a senator to defend Biden.
Not my president.
Yeah.
Not my president.
Well, he's my president. I love him. Well, let's see if he's in office in 6 months, because the dude's already mental. He's going to lose his freaking brain soon. I mean, look how old he is, and he's already got dementia. Obviously, listen to the things he has said. We're not going to talk about him touching kids and shit. But, I mean, dude, he's losing it. And you got Harris over here, who has never really had any authoritative role on a level of vice president. So
she's got experience. She's got experience, though.
Oh, how much experience does she have in the last couple months?
She's got it. She's experienced.
You just need more than that. Would you hire a manager to say run a manufacturing plant that makes bread that's only got a year's experience versus somebody else who's got, say, 25? Which is the logical choice? With a proven track record, no less.
Yeah, but
I mean, there's
people said that about Obama, and Obama had 8 years.
Obama. I'm so torn on that one. I mean, that's for a later discussion. How's that?
Was president of the United States for 8 years.
Well, you can't argue that, but there was an awful lot of shit going down behind the scenes that is being suppressed that people won't talk about. I mean, just throwing out there something random, Benghazi. So, I mean, he was protecting Clinton. Clinton did a whole bunch of shady shit, and we all know she's a fucking murdering piece of garbage. But we don't see her getting. How come she's not in prison yet?
Nothing's happened.
Exactly, nothing's gonna happen. She's got the money to keep it that way.
Right.
I mean, money talks in this world. Money is God. You can go ahead and say, oh no this, oh no that. Go right ahead, talk to your blue in the face, but a person will not listen to you when they see green. They only want to see that green.
Why do you suppose, I mean, and this is something that I scratch my head on, because I mean, it's proven now that the Russian collusion thing was put out by the Hillary campaign. They funded it. They knew it was fake. They put it out there, purposely to derail Trump. That's proven. And I mean, they've got the money trail and everything, yet you still have people that believe in the Russian collusion, and they're not upset with Hillary over that. I mean, they still, like, why do you suppose that is? Is it ignorance, or is it willful ignorance?
Except willful ignorance. People don't want to admit they were wrong. They don't want to admit that somebody that they support or look up to could be so crooked, because then it would prove that they're wrong, and then their ego will take over at that point. That if I put my blind faith in somebody and then find out that they're wrong, oh well, I can't be wrong. They were that good. Look at religion to freaking see that one. I mean, you've got Christianity broken up into hundreds of different subcategories. I mean, why is that? If the good book is the good book, why does it need to be rewritten all the time? Why can't it stay the same? Word of God is the word of God. Why would you want to rewrite that? So just that said, I mean, apply that to a politician. Oh, well, they said they didn't do it. I believe them. Yeah, but I've got all the proof right here that that's not the case. Oh, well, that doesn't matter. That's just conspiracy. You know what I mean? If a person doesn't want to believe something, they will fall down on blind faith to their death, believing that, because they're just so blinded by that form of thinking that to accept that they were wrong is not a possibility. It's just not. It's just not.
I'm gonna say, well, I'm gonna ask a question and make a statement. It's kind of a mix. Okay.
Okay.
On one hand, you say, you know, people need to rise up, they need to get together, and they need to, you know, combat this stuff. But on the other hand, a lot of what you're describing sounds to me like that's not going to be possible because you have a group of people that are dug in come hell or high water, and that's just the way it's going to be. So some would say that the call to rise up or to stand up against some of this stuff is long past and it's too
Oh,
late.
I agree with that. Oh yeah, I agree with that statement. Oh yeah. That's not to say that it couldn't be done still, but you're looking at getting police departments, the military to all rise up because they're the ones with the guns to rise up and either put all of these crooked bastards in already made prisons or accept the fate that, oh no, they're in charge and that's just the way it is. Sooner or later, people are going to have enough. Will it be in my lifetime? I don't know. Probably not. Will it be in my son's lifetime? Hey, maybe. I would like to think so. But do I want that type of world for my son that they would have to stand up and have to take out a global government? It's not that there isn't enough people to do it. I mean, there's only so many of them and there's so many more of us, but it's a matter of having a collective thinking to be able to do that as a people, as one, not you're Jacob, I'm Jeff. No, it's not two different individuals. It should be we, not me. So if we all can change our ways of thinking, that will put pressure on those that have the money, that have the power, that have the means to change what they're doing if they want to keep their power. Otherwise, we're the ones making the guns and bullets. We can take them out. But if we're not going to rise up as one, then that's just saying that the sheep have accepted the farmer or the shepherd or however you want to put it, you know?
Well, and
If the sheep want to run away, they're going to run away. They stick with the freaking flock herder for a reason.
well, and that's what I'm saying. That's what I've heard people say. They're like, we're already past the point of no return. It's done. America's on the decline.
Oh, big time.
And we're not going back. I mean, the whole concept of Trump going, make America great again, that's not happening.
Well, you've got half a country that doesn't want it.
Well,
So half the people
doesn't
already
recognize it. They don't
Well,
see it as that.
yeah, they don't want to. I mean, there's that too. You got to have enough people want to see a truth for it to be accepted as truth. I think it was George Bush Jr. In the whole 9/11 deal when he kept getting questioned about the same thing, and he made a statement that was rather peculiar. He said, if you tell people enough times the same thing, they will believe it. And that always sticks out to me because that's exactly what the media was doing then. Oh no, it was this, it was this, it was this, Bin Laden, blah, blah, blah. Like, really? You're talking about a family, the Bin Laden family, who directly work with the Bushes in oil fields, owning oil, swapping money back and forth. It's been proven that Bin Laden was in a hospital at the time those buildings went down. So why wasn't he detained then? He wasn't in no damn cave.
So do you, okay, once again, just a little conspiracy there. I mean, it sounds conspiracy theory.
Hey, don't take my word for it. Look that shit up.
Okay. But do you think that, you think we're on track for a civil war?
You know, again, we have to rise as a people. We're the highest armed population on the planet. Easily, one person per capita has one gun if you were to separate them all out by now. Probably two. So to have such a stockpile and the populace stockpiling munitions as we do, it's not as if we don't have the firepower. We just don't have the willpower. Yet, anyway.
But I mean, based on what you're saying, I mean, it sounds like, I mean, there could be a fight coming. I mean, amongst the population.
Bring it on. Let's see it. because I think if you were to get people starting to fight like that, you're talking about brother against brother, father against son, mothers against daughters, neighbors against neighbors. I mean, you're talking about friends and relatives all of a sudden picking and choosing a side, like the Civil War the first time. And
We did it
I
once.
don't know how that would go down this time around, because the information age has really changed the ball game on that. I mean, in a lot of ways. So I don't know. I want to say, with the information, the ways it can get out so quickly, we as a people could stand and rise as one. Hell, even if 3/4 of us did it or 2/3 of us did it, it would be enough people. So, God, are we coming up on a civil war? God, I don't want to say yes. I don't want to say no. But if it does happen, it would not surprise.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's the thing. I mean, I'm looking at it, and unless we can get people to acknowledge the truth of things, um, I think that's kind of going to be inevitable. I mean, something as simple as, I'll break it down like this. I mean, the COVID thing that we were talking about earlier, you know, it's got a 99.98 recovery rate. That's the recovery rate. The people that come down with it, they tend to live and they tend to survive and they tend to not die. And you look at the death rate, and it's well over 250,000 or something, and people are going, oh my gosh, the deaths. But you look at it, on an annual basis, and our death rate numbers have not been higher this year than any other years in the past. I mean, we're right on.
They're not even making 1%.
They're still steady. So it's like, it hasn't made a marked impact. But you have people out there that are strong believers in masks and social distancing and lockdowns, and they're getting
totally.
Tom Cruise was made the news yelling at his staff going, hey, if you're not doing this stuff, you're all fired. I mean, you've got some strong believers out there that have bought into the narrative, and they're not looking at it. And so I always go, and I've said this before, I've always said, listen, you have something to worry about if conservatives are worried about it.
True. I'll give you that.
Because conservatives are all about protecting home and family and belief system and stuff like that. So anything that comes out on the outside to jeopardize that, I mean, they kind of join ranks. I mean, arm in arm.
I agree. Yeah.
They give a big fuck you, that ain't happening, and they crush down. But when you have a group of conservatives that look at, a proposed danger, and they look at it and they look at all the variables and they go, no, that's not really going to hurt us.
Yeah.
And they
that's because they have something that a lot of people, I don't know why, don't even bother wanting to possess anymore. And that's critical thinking. They have critical thinking. Like, they're looking at it logically and coming up with a conclusion that makes sense instead of some random sporadic bullshit.
And yet you have the other half, which are liberal, that you hear, oh my God, the sky's falling. Chicken Little's out saying the sky's falling, and they immediately run around and go, the sky's falling, the sky's falling. Now we have to wear masks and social distance and blah, blah, blah. And they claim it's based on science. But if you challenge the science at all, for instance, the mask, I never said don't wear a mask or do wear a mask. All I've been saying for months is the mask material matters. The type of covering that you put over your face, the effect, that's going to determine the effectiveness. That matters. But you make that statement on a liberal thread, and you just get people jumping all over you going, oh, you're not following science and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, well, where's the science in regards to the material that we're using to cover our face?
No, agreed. Agreed. A great example that's not related to COVID would be these. Vaping.
Yeah.
There has been science. It is proven that There is medical reports you can read, the stats, the lab work, all of it. I've looked it up. It is approximately 99% safer, not 95, but 99% safer than inhaling combustible tobacco.
Right.
Flat out, the tobacco companies do not want you to know that. So they are going to demonize it in any way possible. There's only but five things that go into a vape juice, and nicotine on that level is no more addictive than caffeine, the coffee that you drink every single day. And you can buy decaffeinated. You can buy these without any nicotine at all. You can buy juices, no nicotine. So then the argument is, well, you're still inhaling chemicals. Yes, you are. You're inhaling the exact same chemicals that are in the food that you eat. Because I personally make my own juice, and I can tell you that there's not one of those components that isn't already edible that you can't find anywhere in any capacity in regards to the food stock shelves. If it's a sauce or a frozen product, what's in these is in those. They don't want you to know that. So, because they need to demonize it, because tobacco companies are losing billions of dollars, whereas this is now a globally multi-billion-dollar industry. So they don't want you to be buying these and be safe. They want your money. Then there's the whole, oh God, that could be another discussion, because
it could, but I am going to say, listen, if you know how to make your own juice, then we're going to talk more, because I want to make my own juice.
Oh, sure, no problem. It's pretty easy.
I want to make my own.
Oh yeah, it's really that simple. Vegetable glycerin. God, I've got all the stuff in my closet just back here. Yep. Food color, or you can color it if you want. They use food colorings like red and blue and yellow. I don't. God, polyglycol, which is in makeup as well as food. It's an additive to help preserve food. The vegetable glycerin is the sweetener. That you can find in pretty much anything. The flavorings are all baking products. So, and then the nicotine, it doesn't even come from tobacco. There's literally no tobacco product in it. The nicotine that it comes from is like from cotton plants and, there's multiple sources, sugar cane and such. So they don't want you to know any of that, because if you find out that it is actually safer, you're going to drop the stick, or the cancer sticks, and start huffing on one of these, which honestly, these things are super fun, super cool, and that's my opinion. But you can build your own stuff, which I do. It's a lot more fun to tinker with. It's a fun hobby, but people don't want you to know that you can really engage yourself and learn, how to make simple resistors and how to make them effectively. It is such a big topic. I've got a lot of people that you might like to talk to about that.
Well, I was going to say coils are a pain in the ass on these things.
It all depends. That all depends. Depends on what you're vaping on. So, I mean, like there's MTL and DL. So like mouth to lung, which is like a cigarette, or direct lung, which is like a straight huff in, and then you blow it out. MTL vaping is a lot more flavorful, but not nearly as much vapor. Direct lung vaping, a lot more vapor. And then the coils change. So you can get a lot of flavor out of them, just not as much as an RDA or an MTL RDA. So an RDA is just, a revealable coil that you do yourself, which could be any number of products, any number of metals, there's a lot of engineering that goes into that. It's really neat and fun.
I've got a geek vape, and I've got a Falcon 2 mod tank.
Okay. What you got? Like, let me see the mod.
I don't know how to.
That looks like that is a Geek Aegis Solo.
Yeah.
Is that it? Yeah. They make a bigger version of that with a bigger battery.
Yep.
That you can get. I have them. Those batteries are quite a lot bigger. They're like this big, opposed to the battery you're using. So can you see that?
Oh yeah.
So like that's a lot more power. Longevity is why I use them, just so that I don't have to swap out or recharge as quickly or as much. This one is a Lost Vape Groose. with a Freemax tank on it, 3rd generation, whatever the hell. It's a really neat one. I like it.
Looks cool.
Lots of flavor. But if I let you use that, or like, dude, I've got like 80, 90 devices, well over 100 tanks, 50, 60 batteries. I've been in this for a few years. So, you know, is there stuff for me to still learn? Sure, but I've learned an awful lot. Hell, I'd even kick you down a couple mods. I don't care. I don't need them. I'm only using so much.
That'd be cool.
But yeah, that's like a topic that I know a lot of people that would love to talk about, just to advocate it, if for any other reason. Because the Congress is trying to pass this along with Biden, that they want people smoking cigarettes again. They want these off. They're claiming the kids are addicted and blah blah blah. It's like, right, okay, if that's what you want to say. I mean, it's not really true. Are teenagers going to use stuff and experiment with things? Yeah, totally. As a human being, you would do that anyway. It doesn't necessarily mean a teenager. It could be somebody 36 years old.
But they come out and they say the same thing over and over and over again. And like you said, people believe it. They say, oh, vaping's bad, vaping's bad, vaping's bad. And then that's it.
All you got to do is keep repeating yourself. Sooner or later, people will start saying the same thing.
Yeah.
That's how it works.
Like parrots.
There you go. I mean, shit.
But you can't say that on Facebook because you'll go to Facebook jail.
Facebook jail.
Dude, I got thrown in jail over calling somebody a parrot. I swear to Christ. I mean, true. True story.
Yeah, there again. Well, that's limiting people's speech, you know. And now you're talking about the amendment rights, and then it goes to, well, that's a company that owns this. They can make their own rules that dictate what they want on it. Yeah, that's a solid one. But on the flip end, I've got a constitution that says I can say what the fuck I want and where I want. You don't have to like what I'm saying for me to say it. Yeah. Just like standing on a soapbox. You can either keep walking or you can stop and listen. It's your choice. Oh, well, he's offending me. Well, then walk away.
But what if somebody else owns the soapbox?
Oh, and they saying you can't say that on my soapbox?
Right.
Wow, that's pretty fucking petty.
That's the example of Facebook. They're saying you're on our soapbox.
You're right. I think that is a great example. Well, but I own the fake that, so you can't say. Well, fine, then I will go get a rock taller, or I could stand on your soapbox with your name on it, and I can promote you, and you are promoting me. That's just giving you more power. Or you can be a total douche canoe, and that's fine. I'll just find another box.
Okay, but there are no other boxes like Facebook.
There's no other boxes like Facebook. There was one, and that was MySpace many years ago, and you know, Facebook took that one over. It was just an easy.
Poor Tom.
Oh my, yeah. Well, you know what, Tom? Suck it up, Buttercup. Evolve and grow, or be a part of history.
All right, Bubba. So I'm going to wrap this up.
Got it.
But yeah, thanks for chatting with me. I appreciate it. I mean,
yeah, I'd say let's do it again, and I'll have a list of stuff we can, you know, touch base on.
I'm interested. I think that would be great.
I think that awesome. Well then, okay. It's been great talking with you, and let's do this again.
Yep. So if you're watching this, thanks for watching. Check out the website, Larson's, www.larsonsblog.com, and like, share, subscribe, leave your comments below. Thanks.